Hey, everybody. Well, we made it to Friday. And always good to be back here at the table with you all. I'm glad to have you here. I appreciate your time, your energy. And if you're just landing here, I'm Afefe with Touch by Tarot and Beyond. Former journalist, so many of you know that. But again, in case you're just landing here, I am a tarot reader. I am an initiated priestess in both Wiccan and African traditions. But because of my professional experience with my spiritual experience, I sort of come at my readings kind of, I'm sort of a spiritual journalist, if you will. So that said, I did not, and I'm sure many of you did not bother to watch that mess that front, spit out his mouth yesterday. Saw some, went and saw some summaries about it just to stay abreast of, was it as bad as we thought it was going to be? And essentially it was. It was definitely a dog whistle for the plan to subvert the midterm elections. Hands down, no, that's no flashing news to anybody. Interesting, now he's all ticked off at the media outlets that chose not to stream his speech live. But here's what came out of that really got me pinged. My spirit guides were like, pay attention. Talked a lot about China and supposed, potential proven interference from China. Okay. But also brought up Venezuela. Now, turns out that these documents that have been declassified concerning election interference from Venezuela were about Venezuelan elections, as I read it or saw it reported, not the US. But here's where it gets interesting. We didn't hear too much yesterday while everybody was preparing for Trump's speech. That yesterday at the State Department, Marco Rubio hosted 67 countries on what was it called? I don't know if I wrote down the exact title, but basically it was an anti-terrorism counter a conference to counter domestic terrorism and international terrorism, right? So you had Marco Rubio, Stephen Miller, Cash Patel, and Scott Bessent. That was the squad, front squad, that was hosting this anti-terrorism thing at the State Department yesterday prior to Trump's speech. So apparently Marco Rubio gets on there and hooplas around, past, historically what we know or assume that has been done on the foreign end of things. And then Stephen Miller gets up there and sputes every form of vile hatred per usual. Entertainment purposes only, right? Per usual, far leftists, Antifa, this and that. Like, we've got to stop them. They deserve to be blasted off the face of the earth, etc., etc. Typical Stephen Miller. But we're told 67 countries. I haven't seen a full list of those countries. I did notably see that Brazil and Mexico and some others refused to send representatives, so they were not there. But there's this thing around Venezuela and Trump's mention of Venezuela in regards to election interference. Okay. We are also, the New York Times put out an article. I think it was, made a note of the date. I think it was July 11th, that said essentially Rubio has become the de facto, head of Venezuela. He's apparently working, with Delcy Rodriguez, but essentially calling all the shots economically, oil infrastructure to bring oil companies into Venezuela. Notably, I can't remember, maybe some of you will put it in the contents. I can't remember where they were going, but not a couple of months ago when they got on Air Force One and Rubio was with Trump, and Rubio got on Air Force One with the exact same tracksuit that Maduro was wearing when they captured him. Signals all over the place. All right. New York Times comes out with the story and says, guess what? Rubio and Delcy Rodriguez are like on WhatsApp, chummy with each other, back and forth. Rubio is essentially calling all the shots in Venezuela. Here we go. Is Rubio going to be the new Musk in the midterms this year? Are they manufacturing? Did they put out a dog whistle that they're going to manufacture some sort of interference with the cooperation of Venezuela? And is this leading to Marco Rubio ultimately fleeing to Venezuela and becoming their de facto leader? Okay, keeping in mind as well what else broke around Rubio earlier this week, that he's going after the ICC. Y'all, like, my ears are burning, my shoulders are tingling. Am I the only one? So is Marco Rubio, for every entertainment purpose known to man, is Marco Rubio the mastermind of the election interference this go round, similar to how he counted on Musk with the voting machines last time? Is this Marco Rubio manufacturing some interference because he's going to challenge the ICC, and his out is to go and flee and abscond to Venezuela? He knows he's cooked here. He's cooked. His political career is cooked here. Spirit, thank you. Thank you. I'm a little worked up. Thank you. Always center your energy, just as an aside for those of you who do read tarot. Always center your energy before you go to the cards, because it can influence what you see. All right, so we have the Two of Swords coming at the bottom of the deck. So this, right away, I see this is a message that he's trying to hide, that Rubio is trying to hide, and they want to send conflicting messages to try and throw off the scent from Rubio. Is Rubio concocting this? Will we see something coming? Will they claim some kind of interference has happened in Venezuela? Let's start there. Let's break it down in parts. When the midterms happen, are they going to try and say that somehow Venezuela, death? Prince of Cups. And the Fool. I don't know why I'm getting it, but I gotta give it to you like I'm getting it. Somebody's gonna exit before the midterms. Now, okay, we don't even have to speak it, right? Okay. All right, we get it. We get each other. But I am getting that there's something that throws a wrench into this plan to concoct a story around election interference. There's something that gets in the way of it. And the Three of Pentacles. So there's some group that has to step in after this death. Now, I did a reading earlier this week, and others have as well, where there's been some feelings, especially astrologically, with everything happening right now, the eclipse portals, that there is a chance that something momentous is going to occur, that this regime is going to have to exit, like the whole regime is going to have to exit. And there may be Three of Pentacles. There may be a council of some sort that has to step in and provide some sort of order to, an interim government and try to reestablish some sort of order. Spirit, am I on the right track with that? Are you showing me the exit, let's put it that way, the exit of a major governmental figure prior to or around the elections? The Six of Wands and the Queen of Swords and the Five of Swords. They're going to try and hide it. I think that Queen of Swords is Caroline Levitt, who is back on the scene. They're going to try and hide it. And the Six of Pentacles, working to hide it, working behind the scenes, working among one another to hide it. So bottom line, there is a good chance that somebody important is going to exit. It's going to throw a wrench in the works for this plan that Marco Rubio is heading up around inferring or basically accusing some sort of interference from Venezuela around the midterms. Spirit, are they going to say that they hacked the machines? Are they going to say somehow Venezuela hacked the machines? The Two of Wands. So it's not, I get it. And the High Priestess, which is also a 2. They're going to still put China in the mix. I get it. So that's why, again, they always tell on themselves. When Trump made that, specifically called out both China and Venezuela, here we go. High Priestess trying to do something funky behind the scenes. And the Two of Wands also helps me understand why we got that Two of Swords a moment ago. So they're going to accuse both of interference on some level, but there is also some sort of disruption in actual people. Somebody's going to exit, and they're going to try and cover it up, similar to what they're doing with Mitch McConnell, right? The Nine of Swords. They are extremely stressed about it. Now, I want to focus this, Spirit. Help me bring this back to Marco Rubio. Does he have a plan essentially to flee to Venezuela? Is that the direction he's leaning in? The Nine of Pentacles, getting his ducks in a row. The Princess of Pentacles, talking to someone there, establishing ties there with someone. That's not Delcy Rodriguez. She wouldn't come up as a princess. That's a younger energy, a more youthful energy. Ten of Cups, it's his family. This is someone in his family. I don't know if he has a daughter or a sister or someone else, but this feels like someone with that Nine of Pentacles. Rubio sending somebody. He's trying to establish his money there, how he would survive once he gets there, right? And it involves somebody, I don't know if this is a daughter, a sister, or somebody younger than him who's already working on that, making sure that the family, Ten of Cups, is going to be okay once they're there. Spirit, is this something that we understand that Trump has made some jokes about sending Rubio off to be sort of like a permanent attaché for the United States in Venezuela. Is Trump pushing him? Four of Pentacles. Seven of Cups. Nah, he's not pushing him. Trump's not pushing Marco Rubio to go to Venezuela, but I think because he knows Rubio knows that when all of this is said and done, if this is Trump exiting or whenever Trump exits, and Rubio is still here, and these investigations start to launch and people start to be held accountable, Marco knows he's right there at the top of the list. And there's the Ace of Cups. Spirit gave me my ace. If you are new to me, when I get aces, it's my guide saying I'm on track. It's a yes, I'm on track. So this is Rubio's own doing, and I get it. And I get it. Thank you, Spirit, because the premise of this was that essentially Rubio is the mastermind behind this attempt at getting the elections to go Trump in the GOP's way. He's the one pulling the levers. And there's, who do I have here? They call it the alien. It's the hermit. But that's the work that he's doing. Studiously, fastidiously. Remember, Rubio was of everybody that was considered initially for Trump's cabinet. He got approved like that. Went through Senate confirmation like that because he had an established record. Even though, conservative though it was. But still, some sensibility around governmental processes, and procedures and the Constitution. This man has gone way, way off the bend. So, bottom line is, he's sending somebody, his plan is this thing with the ICC, going after the ICC to delegitimize it or try and, dismantle it in some way. It's self-interested. It's self-interested because he's already got a really strong toehold in Venezuela, and I would not be surprised at all if we see him try to, when all of this goes down, and especially if that death part that we saw, if his cover is blown, meaning Trump or higher ups that could shield him in some way, yeah, he's gonna try and get up out of here, but not before executing the plan to try and interfere in the elections. Now that said, one of the things that came out of the speech yesterday, a Trump speech, was the plan to set the stage so that in the wake of the elections in November, that they will send feds into various states, in particular where Senate races are going to be tight. I think they know the House is really in trouble, but which means they're going to pull out all the stops to try and maintain control over the Senate. That means, of course, John Ossoff out of Georgia that he's been going after. That means in Michigan, whether it's El Said or Haley, hoping it's El Said personally, but Michigan will be another one, and North Carolina, Roy Cooper, right? Is this Are they planning to send federal agents to go seize those ballots, particularly in those 3 states? Already been in Georgia, right? Already been doing it in Georgia. Spirit, are they planning to try and seize the ballots out of those particular states? They can't go out and do it everywhere. Are they planning to seize the ballots? Is Trump's regime planning to seize the ballots? The star, the Hierophant, the government. I'm not going to ignore that. That is the plan. That is the plan. The will of the people, move something that is coming up in the future. Usually the star is not right now immediate in the moment. It's a little bit further down the road. This is a little bit down the road. And the Hierophant, the government. So yes, they are going after certain states in particular. Now, Gavin Newsom out of California has already said, you come up in here and try to take our ballots, we will consider it a felony and we will prosecute you, because states run elections. States have authority over elections. Spirit, will other governors and attorneys generals implement a similar law, process it as a felony to resist 2 of Cups, at least 2 other states, and the Moon, trying to push it through, the 3 of Pentacles, trying to work things out right now because they'd have to push it through with their legislatures. Will ballots be protected in these states that they're going to target? Will the ballots be protected? The 5 of Pentacles, 2 cards just came. The Prince of Wands and the 6 of Cups, relying on how things were done in the past. Prince of Wands, somebody coming out to fight it. Queen of Cups, definitely somebody coming out to fight it. And the King of Swords. This is Blanche, who is going to get confirmed, by the way. I mean, no news to anybody, right? He's going to get confirmed. And the world. I think that the world is foundational. The world is a completion. I think it's going to hold, but it's going to be, we're going to see quite a fight. I don't know. Is that Queen of Cups? I don't know why Nancy Pelosi is coming up to my mind, but I'm gonna say it since Spirit gave me an impression of her. The Queen of Cups and the King of Swords could even be Bernie Sanders, or no, that's not Bernie. It's someone who has a very rational, calm voice. John Ossoff out of Georgia. 7 of Pentacles. The assessment they're going to try and hold up, and the chariot. This is John Ossoff. So in particular, it's him that they're really going after. That they'll send them to Georgia right away first, because they've sent them to Georgia before, and Georgia released those boxes, right? So that's going to be a primary area, and I think that King of Swords is John Ossoff, who's going to win, is going to be a major force to come out and show this cannot be done. I think there's going to be tremendous resistance. You also keep heart around that. The attempt to do it, 150%, but they see it coming, and at the end of the day, these are states that have a right to their own electoral systems and their own ballots, and I think there's going to be a heck of a fight. Those fights might wind up in the courts, some of them for sure. But they ain't gonna go down like that. It ain't gonna go down like that. It ain't gonna go down like that. And meanwhile, he's gonna have the White House grounds all fenced off to try and prevent some. He's already off in paranoia land. I'm gonna go ahead and ask it because I can feel the question coming. Are we going to see violence in the wake of? And this is not. If you know me, I don't do the fear mongering thing. We're not doing that. One way or another. I have even seen some stories starting to circulate around state leaders and mayors, local mayors, etc., being ready to enact whatever law enforcement, local law enforcement, to stand up for, and protecting people and doing what needs to be done. So I don't see this playing out like a Jan 6 rioters willy-nilly all around the country. Some, yes, but not. It ain't gonna go down like that. It's just not. It's a different time, and there's a sense of there's really a sense of people being fed up and ready to fight back, and fighting back within legal parameters. Four swords. Clarity around that, people wanting to stay calm, clear, focused, but prepared. That's what this Four of Swords is speaking to. So the idea that states are going to get caught on the back foot this time, and because assuming that the guardrails will hold, ain't nobody assuming there are no guardrails, or somebody got to get out here and construct some new ones, right? The Princess of Cups, that's someone young, a young progressive speaking to this issue, and another young progressive, Princess of Pentacles. This could be two younger females who win elections, either at state or federal levels, or who are in contention to win. Two of Cups. Yeah, there are deals being made around the state and the world. Thank you. Seeing the world again. You all, there are deals being made. Or I don't know. I don't want to say deals. There are talks. There are partnerships forming. There are coalitions that are forming that see this coming, that they're going to come and try and take our ballots, and or they're going to try and send people in to, disrupt and wreak havoc on the streets out of anger or otherwise. And it's just not going to happen. People are over it. There's the Hierophant. Exactly. And the Five of Pentacles. He's going to lose control. He's not. And I think that Five of Pentacles is pointing to the fact that Trump is not going to have this wholehearted, a gazillion of thousands, of hundreds of thousands of people ready to come out and defend his honor. What I'm hearing is, if he needed to summon that same situation from Jan 6 today, not as many people would have shown up today in this climate, for all of the information and energy that they're trying to put out there. Otherwise, in large part, this system is a process of government. That's why we're seeing the Hierophant. This is his process. Whereas before, say in the 2024 election, there was a huge contingent of MAGA supporters who trusted that he was going to, this whole America First thing. Those people are not there any longer. Not in those kinds of numbers, you all. So that's why Spirit is offering this reassurance that some of the clickbaiters are, oh, another civil war and people are just going to be all over the streets and whatever. There may be pockets of that, but it will not be something wholesale. I'm just not getting that energy. Of course, we're going to look at it more as we get closer to that time, but I'm not getting that energy. All right. Last thing I wanted to look at today, I've gotten quite a few emails from you all asking me to look at the Paramount Warner merger deal. Today, Friday, there's a big hearing that's going to take place in Oakland. A Biden appointed judge is overseeing this, by the way, but I'm going to tell you in a minute why I'm not too happy about that, or not feeling thrilled about that. What's her name? Araceli. She's a female. Araceli Martinez Alguin. She's a U.S. District Court judge for the Northern District of California in Oakland. That's where this hearing is going to take place today between the lawsuit that was filed by 12 state attorneys generals to try and stop an antitrust lawsuit to try and stop the Paramount Warner merger, on the basis, of course, that it's going to be a monopoly over especially media, right, which is already tilting too far right and being dismantled over media, but also jobs and of the access to entertainment in general outside of news media, right? So yesterday there was a hearing, and this same judge, that's why I said I have a question mark around her. They put forth a motion to try and expedite discovery and like really get this lawsuit going, and she rejected that and said there wasn't sufficient evidence to warrant moving things on that faster track, right? So she put the poo-poo on that yesterday. Now today they're going back in front of her to see if they can get these 12 state attorney generals are asking for a TRO, a temporary restraining order, to basically pump brakes and just stop the merger for the time being. Right now the deal is supposed to close by July 22nd, okay? So first I want to ask, is she going to pause it? After today's hearing, will this judge pause? Will she issue a temporary restraining order to pause the closing of the Paramount Warner merger? Is this judge going to pause? Is she going to issue an order to pause based on today's hearing? 9 of Cups, that's what they want, or what the people want. The world has been busy today in the Ace of Wands. Because after that ruling she did yesterday, and they said she was a little snippy with the, like, you're not giving me sufficient grounds, but okay, Ace of Wands, the world, a pause, perhaps, like completion for now, and the 9 of Cups. I feel like that could be that if they can meet the standard to at least sufficient evidence that she may want to prove this is potentially harmful to employment industry, media consumption, costs to consumers for online streaming, etc. She might go for it. The Hierophant. Oh, that's the government coming back at him. The Lovers, a decision, or appealing her decision, and the Prince of Pentacles. Are you showing me that if she does if she does allow a temporary restraining order, are they going to go, is the government, the DOJ, going to go and try and appeal that order? Prince of Swords. These are young, inexperienced, relatively inexperienced lawyers that the Justice Department, or Ellison's group, Paramount, has. Some experienced heavy hitters, but this also feels like death. I just pulled death. An end to it. Are you showing me an end to it, Spirit, meaning that the deal will close, like an end to the wait. Will this deal close? Will this merger happen? Let's go at it that way. Will this merger, whether it's now or later, will this merger occur? Princess of Pentacles, Queen of Swords, High Priestess. It ain't easy. Ten of Pentacles. That's the money changing hands. That's the money changing hands. But the High Priestess is, there's something else, that there's some sort of, there may be, and this, I think this is the Judge, the Queen of Swords, and the Princess of Pentacles, slowing down the money or reevaluating the money. This could be really, this could wind up costing the Ellisons more than they even knew or realized in the long run. And the Three of Swords and the Ace of Cups. So the Ace of Cups is saying that ultimately I do believe this merger is going to occur. And this Three of Swords is the disappointment and the sorrow among, of course, many people who don't want to see this happen. But there's some energy on the back end of this, you all. That Ten of Pentacles, I just think it's going to wind up costing them more. The Ellisons are going to wind up... Oh, you know what this is? This is backlash. They're going to be people just like the Target effect. Let's call it that. The Target effect, right? Where people are going to drop their subscriptions. They're going to, they're just not going to go along with it. And I got the Starman, the Magician, to confirm. That's what I'm seeing. Thank you. So sometimes I'm a little slow, but I get there. That's what's happening. Ultimately, what is it? $111 billion. We're hearing this deal. They're going to lose a whole lot of money because when this goes through, and I am getting a sense that eventually it will, it may stall a little bit, but eventually it's going to go through. It's going to cause such a anger and an outcry similar to the Target situation, the Target stores and the boycotting. So, yeah, they're going to lose a lot of money. They're going to lose a heck of a lot of money. All right. All right, y'all. I hope that was helpful. Thank you so much for your time, your attention. The hypes. I've been getting notes about hypes. The super thanks and super chats. The little thing. I appreciate that. I can't tell you how much. It gives me even more motivation to continue to come and show up and hang out with you and do some good content with you all. I'm also thinking more and more. Been encouraged to do some lives. I'm going to do it. I'm going to make it happen. Part of my hesitation, y'all, is there's so many other good readers that are doing lives around the same time frame that I would be able to show up, and so there'd be that conflict. So I'm thinking about, I think Tuesdays are pretty free. I was thinking about let's talk Tuesdays, or talk it out Tuesdays, or some kind of trendy, kind of something easy for us all to remember and gather around. Let me know what you think about that, if Tuesdays would work out. And I think I'm going to start, especially as we get closer to the midterms, I might start doing a live every Tuesday with you all and hang out and be able to exchange, in the moment. All right. Meanwhile, chin up, shoulders back, walk tall. Keep breathing from your heart. We're going to win. People, not we, but bigger than that. People are going to win across the whole situation, across the people, the will of the people. And the astrology tells us that. Our souls are telling us that. Our knowledge of how history unfolds is telling us that. In the wake of every point in civilization where it has been diabolical leaders who have done diabolical things, there is another side to it. We come through it, and we're going to come through this one as well. And we'll never, ever, ever repeat these mistakes. Sky above us. All right, and keep those heads up towards the sky and the earth beneath us. Watch your step. Stand tall, stand strong, walk sure, and let yourself be supported. All right. I'll talk to you later. Bye.